Hey everybody and welcome. Our guest right now is the host of Revision 3's Scam School, which is available of course at scamschool.tv, or more importantly for this interview on iTunes, because he saw his podcast rocket up the charts by way of chicanery. We are speaking to Brian Brushwood, the icon himself. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing really good, Justin. How are you doing?
You were joining us from your home in Austin, right?
Yes, correct.
All right, fantastic. Well, here's what I got to know. Where did this idea come from? Where did the iScam? Give me the beginnings, the hatchings of these ideas.
We had a live dignation event in New York City at Studio B in Brooklyn, and I knew that I would be performing for 1,000 of the most connected people out there. These are fans of Dig, these are fans of Dignation, and I was thinking there's just got to be something I can do with this, some way to corral that energy. And then I had the idea. Actually, I don't know if you remember, but when Ron Paul was running for president, they would schedule these money bombs, and they would all at once send in $100 at the exact same time, and then make the news because he generated $6 million in a day or something like that. And I thought, I wonder if you could game iTunes the exact same way. So we hatched Operation iScam, a coordinated plan to attack iTunes at exactly the same moment, so that for one hilarious second we could be at the top of the charts.
Well, here's what I got to ask you. How much, especially with a crowd like that is somewhat knowledgeable about the tech side, and obviously Revision 3 is huge with podcasts, so they have to have some insight into how to put that stuff together. How much do you actually know in terms of gaming stuff? I mean, because it is kind of voodoo, right?
Yeah, very little actually. It was mainly kind of a theory because when Scam School first launched, somebody called and said we were number one in technology because all of the Revision 3 programs are technology. And I was like, well, what does that mean? And I talked to people and they say, well, that means the current rate of subscriptions is the most in this 4 to 6 hour period. In fact, it's actually a closely guarded secret exactly how the voodoo works, of how often they reiterate and what the decay rate is of new subscriptions, that kind of stuff. So I got a little bit of the insight, and I understood that it had to do with not how many people actually watched your show, but how fast the rate of new subscriptions were coming on at any given time. And to be honest, I think that's part of why Revision 3 was okay with me doing it, was because I think this is an interesting experiment. Everyone in tech who I talked to said, oh man, tell me how that works out. I'm really interested to know if it's even possible to game the system.
Especially with Revision 3, has anything like this been done by them, or have they heard of anything like this kind of stuff before?
I think we also caught a loophole here. If any other program were to do this, were to outright try to cheat their way to the top, it would be pretty nasty. I mean, it would not people would not be kind to that show. They would call it a lot of names. But we get away with a lot since the show's called Scam School. It's very much in our brand to try something outrageous and stupid like this. And the great thing is kind of like Penn and Teller, we can lie and be proud about it. Because, hey, dude, we're scamming our way. We're Scam School, duh.
Yeah. What else did you expect? Now, exactly. I know in following up with you after this happened that you were very surprised with kind of the aftermath. I mean, this wasn't just one quick second. If you can give us an update as of the recording of this interview, how's Scam School doing?
It was amazing. The timeline went something like hatched the idea a couple days before the live performance, did the live performance and put the idea out, and almost instantly it took on a life of its own. I started getting calls from people like you and folks over at the Magic News Wire, and in fact, I ended up getting an email from Jay Adelson, co-founder of Dig, suggesting that to make sure to create a Dig item for it a few hours beforehand to get it on the front page and build up the enthusiasm for it. So I essentially spent like an entire day just shooting out emails to everyone, begging people to put the word out on their Twitter feeds. And I think Twitter is a big reason why this thing pulled off, because you send it one tweet to your people, who send it to other people, and word gets around. Somebody on the forums likened it to elementary school if everybody decided to drop their pencil at exactly 10:13 to mess with the substitute teacher. And I think that's part of what made it fun. But before I knew it, we'd made the front page of Dig. There was almost 1,500 digs to this ridiculous idea of trying to game the system. And then we all struck at 6 o'clock. And I got to admit, for the first 6 hours, I was pretty disappointed. I thought, oh, man, it didn't work. We only bumped up to maybe set number 7 in tech or whatever. And then my brother called me a little after midnight freaking out, saying that we had hit number 3 overall, and we did shoot ourselves in the foot in that we went up against the Apple keynote. That might have not have been the best timing for that, but again, in general, I was very happy with how it worked out. Oh, and you had mentioned the amazing part to me was once we got on there, I was convinced, okay, well, we've hit that number. Tomorrow we'll wake up and we'll be back at number 50 in tech. But instead, day after day after day, it's been staying up there. We're still in the top 100 of all podcasts, which we weren't before, and we're still in the top 10 in tech, which we weren't before. We were down to like number 50 in tech. And I think the mere fact of having hit the top 10 provided advertisement that kept people subscribing. Oh, what's Scam School? If it's so popular, I ought to check it out.
Yeah.
And then they end up in the show.
Well, there we go. I mean, next time, I guess the only thing that you have to avoid is, the big Apple keynote, and then the one your new arch nemesis. Now you have a blood feud with Ira Glass from This American Life, right? He was the only guy you couldn't leapfrog.
One of the things I was really proud of in the live performance was I wanted to make it clear that this isn't something people should do just for Brian, even though clearly they're doing it just for Brian. But I made arch nemesis out of The Economist and NPR, because there's like 12 NPR podcasts there at the top, and Oprah's got like 12 podcasts in there. So the whole framework was, I'm going to take you down, Oprah. And I think that resonated with a lot of people. Although you're right, NPR, This American Life, escaped. We crushed everyone except for Ira Glass, so I'll have to take him down.
Well, next time. All right, so the final question I have to ask you is there a sequel? I Scam 2? Any ideas? Any hints?
I didn't think there would be, but so many people have asked that it makes me think that maybe we'll coordinate something else out there. There may be some big media appearance that we could tie it with in the future, but for right now, we're going to lay low for a little bit, and who knows? If we need to, we'll pull it out.
There we go. Head out of town, cut your hair, make sure you change your IDs. And then eventually you'll roll back in. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, our guest has been Brian Brushwood of Scam School. You can find it at scamschool.tv, as well as throughout the country, right? You're still you're touring, doing shows.
Still touring,
right?
Doing lots and lots of touring.
All right.
Lots and lots of touring.
So make sure to get all that information. Your website is Brian or Schwood.com, right?
Yeah, Schwood.com. That's the best. That's the place to go for the latest tour schedule, and that's SHWOOD. Those are the last 6 letters of Brian Brushwood.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Brian.
You got it.